Hello everyone, my name is Tim Hughes. I'm the Director of Communications for Spirit Invest. Today I want to talk about South Africa's position in the world and what I would call a new world order. I think there's a perception that with the President Trump administration that things are just peculiar to him and perhaps things haven't changed fundamentally. I would argue that the global world order is changing quite fundamentally, and even after the Trump presidency, the world will never be the same again. So we do have indications of a new world order. Look at what's happening in terms of global trade relations, look at what's happening to NATO, look at what's happening to the Transatlantic Alliance, for example. Look what's happened in the Gulf. The world simply is changing. So the question is, where is South Africa in this new global order? I would contend that we have to change the way we think about international relations and the new global order. I think we're still, in terms of South Africa's foreign policy, we're still focused on what may be called multilateralism and or public diplomacy. So multilateralism means that we believe in the power of working in alignments. We believe in institutions such as the United Nations, the G20, the G7, etc. And all of this is valid and viable, except if we look at what's happened to South Africa recently. We've been excluded from the G20, we've been excluded from the G7, and our relations with some of our major international trading partners, notably the United States, possibly Britain as well, have come under threat. And we've come under a lot of criticism for our relationships with other states such as Venezuela, Iran, and Cuba, for example, not to mention our relationship with Russia and, of course, with China. So my argument today is South Africa has to realign its foreign policy to meet this new global international order. For example, we, in terms of our international relations, we do not have heads of mission in countries that constitute 3/4 of the world's population. We simply don't have a head of delegation in those countries. We don't have an ambassador to the United States, for example, and this has been the case for over a year now. So that needs to be fixed very, very quickly. Secondly, I believe that rather than ditching public diplomacy, we have to focus far more on economic diplomacy. We have to look at what South Africa's interests are. Where are we strategically important in terms of our minerals, in terms of our position on the tip of Africa? But we have to align our foreign policy and our international relations with our domestic interests. We are simply not crowding in enough international investment. We are not creating the conditions for international investors to have confidence in South Africa. And we're not aligning our diplomatic relations with our economic and trade relations. And this will have an impact on our development. So my argument would be, let's look at our developmental imperatives in South Africa first. Economic growth, job creation, tackling inequality, development, some of the sustainability challenges we have, energy, infrastructure, deindustrialization. If we're going to tackle those issues, we need to have optimum and optimal foreign policy focused on economic diplomacy. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, said the world is undergoing a fundamental shift, a fundamental realignment. My argument would be that South Africa has to be part of that global realignment. Otherwise, we're going to be left behind, and that will have a severe impact on our economic and social development. So it's time for us to realign our foreign policy. Let's see what happens in the coming months, and I shall comment again in terms of South Africa's international relations. Thank you for watching.